Elon Musk wants to build a city where workers can live and work and pay a reduced rent. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? We're going to be looking at a clip from Breaking Points about this conversation and examining some of the pros and cons. I'll save my opinion towards the end.
If you'd like to live in Elon Musk's proposed utopia town, get a job at one of his companies, and you could become the newest resident of Snailbrook. Musk employees have described it as a Texas utopia.
What do you think? Does Elon's new utopia represent a form of benevolent paternalism where the company is there to take care of its employees' needs and provide them with a good quality of life? Or is this just another incarnation of modern-day serfdom?
What do you think? When you hear this, Elon Musk wants to build a town where people work and live. What do you think? By the way, Mr. Beast just bought a whole neighborhood in North Carolina and moved all of his friends and family into it.
Okay, I think when I hear this immediately, I go, it's probably going to be dope. He's not going to get, it would be bad press to make this city whack. It's probably going to be fire. Also, if you live there, that is the most employee mentality thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
What you mean?
Like, not only do I work for him, but I live in his city. I live in his work city. That sounds like the system.
Yep.
I'm not mad at it.
Yep.
I also think it's going to be dope.
Yep.
So I don't think it's going to be dystopic. I think that'd be too much of an L.
Yeah, that's the title that Breaking Points has here. Go ahead and play.
Yeah.
From the Wall Street Journal, quote, in meetings with landowners and real estate agents, Mr. Musk and employees of his companies have described his vision as sort of a Texas utopia along the Colorado River, where his employees could live and work. The Boring Company employees could apply for a home with rent starting at about $800 a month for a 2 or 3 bedroom. But if an employee leaves or is fired, he or she would have to vacate the house within 30 days.
Okay, so everything has pros and cons. Everything has risks and rewards.
Yes.
The reward here is you get to live near your job in this probably newish tech type of city.
Yeah.
Right? I think other organizations have done this before, other corporations, at $800 a month, which is a reduced rate, probably for most of Texas at this point. Yes. And the con is, if you want to move, if you want to switch jobs, or if you get fired, you got 30 days, bud.
Bounce. They're gonna shut your water off if you're late.
Yeah.
If you're late on a deliverable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm curious, what's the square footage of these 2 to 3 bedrooms?
I think they're pretty nice.
Because he got the boxables though, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Those are dope.
Is it a 3-bedroom boxable though? Because that's gonna be 800 square feet.
That's true.
Depending on your background, your opinion of company towns can probably go one of 2 ways. Forbes magazine writes, affordable housing, corporate America can be part of the solution. Quote, as housing prices continue to rise across the nation, developers, local governments, and major corporations have an opportunity to work together in the 21st century as partners rather than adversaries to help address the inequities of housing affordability on numerous fronts. This would be the most generous interpretation, I'll just put it that way. It's kind of perfect that Forbes magazine, a flagship corporatist publication, was the one to actually put forth this take, a take that I'm very familiar with because it's the world where I come from. This is going to be a slight to my alma mater, but day one of business school, we were indoctrinated with this notion that we weren't in it for the money. We were in, quote, the business of doing good. But then we took classes about how to make money through private equity, how to union bust, how to personify a brand in a way to manipulate consumers to buy. And that was somehow good. That was okay because it obfuscated the realities of what we were doing. This is just my opinion. The genesis of a lot of society's problems that the business community purports to want to solve are oftentimes byproducts of private industry's blind pursuit of profit.
I think he shows his hand there.
Yeah.
The point of having a business is to sell products or service.
Yeah.
He made that sound extremely evil and nefarious.
Yeah, like how dare you make
unnecessarily.
Money.
Here's what I feel like is missing from this conversation. Buy. Yet, if you consider what big business, and I'm not the biggest fan of like massive corporations where CEOs make 1,000, whatever the lowest wage worker is. Like, I don't think that's smart.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good from a morale standpoint. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing to our newest YouTube channel, Mastermind My Business, the channel where you get access to information on how to create, how to grow, and how to learn. But I wanted to show you something kind of crazy. Over 71% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing, turning that bell notification on so you don't miss anything. All right? I appreciate you. But if you just pull yourself back and go, okay, because of big business innovation, supply chain improvements, technology. We in America, if you're lower middle class, live better than kings did 100 years ago because of the consumerism of getting a massive TV for cheaper, getting a nice car for cheaper, getting air conditioning for cheaper, getting running water, right? Like there's so many things we take for granted.
Yeah.
And it's because of this quote unquote buy mentality that is intrinsic to capitalism.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff is getting cheaper. It's not like people are starving.
Yeah.
No one's starving. Matter of fact, we're doing the opposite of starving.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
People are eating good.
Yeah.
People have shelter for the most part. And the folks who don't have shelter usually have mental illness around it. People have access to go and work jobs in comfortable situations to the point where we're literally dying of being too fat.
Oops.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so what is this like buy? Like, yeah. And that's what a company's job is to do, is to make a product or service that people want and make you think that they're a good company that is providing value in their branding. What is the problem? Now, he talked about equities, and that's above. I don't know what any of that stuff is. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know anything about unions and the pros and cons of unions. I know I'm not a big fan of police unions, but I'm sure maybe Amazon could probably benefit to have a union, right? Like I don't know. That's above my pay grade. But what do you make of that?
Okay, so the whole thing started about work cities, but then this was kind of his attack at like corporatism.
Sure. Yes.
Is that
Yes.
what I'm tracking?
Yes.
Okay.
It's corporatism, but it's specifically saying these companies want you to think they're benevolent,
Yes.
right? And it's like, well, Tesla is literally changing the world
Yes.
with making EVs cool.
Yeah.
That then shifted the market. Like that is a net positive to the environment. That is a net positive to society.
Yep.
Like it's, so yeah, like that's their job.
Well, okay. So we already laid out this idea that Elon Musk is not going to make this corporate city negative for himself purely because it would be bad press. You could argue, and I would argue, that the desire of the corporate America to create an image of buy, we have a great business, we're helping people, we're doing good, is also a bonus.
Sure.
They want to make money, and to do so, there's some level of social accountability they have to have with the public. So even if it's slightly disingenuous, Elon Musk is going to make an amazing city.
Yeah. And but I would even say I don't think it's a false binary. Like I think that's a false binary.
Yes.
Like even if it's slightly disingenuous, like this idea that business owners are cutthroat and just want to squeeze everything they can from people and they're bad guys. Like, or he wants to make a great product, serves the people that can afford it, make a ton of profit for his investors, and create an environment where the people working for him enjoy, are fairly compensated, and live in a comfortable city. Hey, did you know that you can watch videos like this on the Spotify app? We now are on Spotify under Ruslan Bless God Podcast. So if you're driving and you want to go back and forth between listening to the podcast and just the audio or watching the video, consider doing it now on the Spotify app as well as all podcast platforms. All right, I'll see you over there.
No one forced you to go to CarMax and get your 19% interest rate on your Tesla.
Whoops.
That wasn't corporate America that did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you see what I mean? Like it's just like
100%.
people it's a false binary. Like okay, and I don't know Elon's heart, but neither do these people.
Yeah.
You don't know what his heart is. You don't
Yes.
know if he's trying to help or take advantage of his employees, right? But I think the notion that those things have to be pinned against each other is kind of gross.
Totally. What's your opinion on a work city?
I think it's dope.
I
think if we earned enough to scoop up a neighborhood, to scoop up a cul-de-sac,
You have to work
and
out.
everybody can have their own house and it's fly.
Yeah.
And then there's the work house and that's fly.
Okay.
And then there's access to training and access to whatever and built-in community. Like I think that's dope. Now it does get a little problematic if someone wants to move on.
Yeah.
And how does that work? But I think it becomes one of those things like, hey, just so you know, if you are going to move in here, you're making a commitment for this many years. It's like an NBA contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would have to.
Yeah.
I think you could create some sort of you could create some sort of cult-ish mentality
Sure.
on accident.
Yep.
Just this idea that your community centers around your job.
Yep.
So even when you're out of work,
Yep.
your community, so it could almost be a replacement of church. I would be curious, does the work city even have, does it have church? Does it have multiple sort of buildings of worship?
Yeah.
Right? Does it even have a bar? Do they sell alcohol? Because that's unproductive to the workplace.
Yep.
Right? Do they have a dispensary? You know, it's like the interesting things like that. I'm like, I wonder how freedom oriented it is, or if it's like Elon's personal values are this.
Sure.
And productivity.
Yep.
And so you're going to see that reflected in the city.
Yep.
Exactly. And there's no working outside the lines.
And I don't know that. What I do know is everyone I know that works for Tesla loves working for Tesla. It's not like folks who work for Amazon. And by the way, I know a lot of folks that work for Amazon that like working for Amazon. By the way, I remember what it was like before there was Amazon and before there was the gig economy.
Yeah, you get to wait 14 days for your package to arrive.
Yeah, forget that. No, I'm just saying the type of work that low skill people got back then. Like I was working at Pizza Hut and cleaning toilets for my first 2 jobs.
Yeah.
That wasn't lit. I would have loved to go drive for Uber. Set my own schedule, work when I want to, not have to deal with a boss, or go drive for Amazon, right? Like, I don't know, man. I think some of this stuff is people don't really understand what life was like before.
They don't appreciate how far we've come.
And it's also like, well, what do the people who work there think? Because everyone I know who works at Tesla,
chilling.
They love it. They make good money. They make they make above average money, and they enjoy the work.
And imagine like your city, your home, your vehicles, everything around you is like you're the first thing to get the updates.
Yeah.
So like you get all the braking technology, even if it's not like Tesla's figuring it out and Elon Musk is figuring it out, and they don't know how to scale it to actually make money. But it's just like, let's do this crazy thing. Yeah. Let's create solar powered vehicle cars. It's like, oh, it only works in a small city, but it. And so you get like all the cool
you're
tech.
trying stuff. Yeah. No, that's good.
Pretty cool.
That's good. Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.